This weekend, survivors of forced sterilizations have the opportunity to heal collectively, something that hasn't happened before on a national scale. Gatineau Kik is Wolf Clan from Mohawk Six Nation. She spent a long time processing her experience in isolation due to shame.
I was 16 years old when the procedure happened during the delivery of my daughter. And I knew the procedure was happening, but I didn't have all of the proper information to be able to make an informed decision about my body and my long-term fertility. And so it took time to fully understand what was done to me.
She says she hopes the national gathering will allow survivors to come together and know they're not alone.
The true numbers of survivors of forced and coerced sterilization in Canada is not known.
In a press conference held ahead of the national gathering, Dr. Marilyn Cook of Mississippi Cree Nation shared what she witnessed working as a nurse in northern Manitoba in the 1970s.
I often saw the physicians coming in and making the decision that somebody needed their tubes to be tied or sterilized. And I would question whether the patient is fully aware of what they are going into the surgery for.
Cook says some patients also had birth control inserted without their knowledge.
I had one patient, she often wondered why she never got pregnant again, and I was doing a pap test on her. She hadn't had one done in years, and she had an IUD in that she never knew was there.
Senator Yvonne Boyer has a private member's bill, S-250, going through Parliament. It would penalize those responsible for forced or coerced sterilizations with up to 14 years in prison. She says this is happening to vulnerable people across the country, including Indigenous women.
The numbers that we have counted up to this point are at least 12,000. For instance, in Igloolik, 26% of all the Inuit women were sterilized.
Boyer's efforts have been delayed since Parliament has been prorogued. But she says this issue will be her top priority when Parliament reconvenes.
We have 4 or 5 class action lawsuits happening across the country.
Malika Pop from Treaty 4 Fishing Lake First Nation is part of the class action in Saskatchewan.
The forced and coerced sterilization of Indigenous women is specific to genocide because it seemed to have, target on a marginalized group of Indigenous women who were vulnerable, exposed in their most vulnerable exposed state, labor.
Savannah Craig, APTN National News, Gatineau.